my work and my belief is that somehow the important leverage point here gets back to this question of the purpose of financial capital in an economic system, and this idea that the purpose of capital is to sustain life and not the other way around seems to be a very central problem for us to tackle. I don't begin to think I have the answers on how we do that, but at least defining what has to happen if the system is to be regenerative and therefore sustainable is a good place to start.
People are just not going to be able to adopt a new consciousness, a new paradigm, if they can't act on it.
Money is wealth because it allows for a transfer from one person to another who shares values.
We drive ourselves into oblivion if we live with the premise of compromise.
We could end up creating another new grand idea, but we don't work on how we are thinking.
In a sense, we're pretty literally lost because our mental frameworks don't match the world in which we actually live.
I'm confident at this point, in the next 10 or 15 years, we're going to transform the west side of Chicago based on our social terms.
One way to think of Evergreen is it's not only jobs, it's not only wealth building, but it's, we hope, a kind of leadership development and unleashing people's understanding of their potential.
The hope is that some good stories will attract additional investment capital, will also encourage other entrepreneurs.
What are the key fundamental values that drive us as human beings? And Alan realized that at the end of the day, if the people weren't happy, if the people weren't intrinsically motivated, if people didn't love to get out of bed every morning, all the fancy ecological stuff they were creating out in the landscape really didn't matter.
I'm not going to sit up here and be naive to think that business is always a force for good. It's not. But there are companies that want to be a force for good, and that good is in many ways curtailed by the lack of freedom to go the extra mile because of the legal and short-termistic view that the capital markets have.
We have to be investing in the innovation around connecting companies to living systems.
The big takeaway in terms of my experience was forcing myself to start thinking above the line and starting to look at that larger picture and drag myself upward.
Although it can seem very parochial and slow to work firm by firm, and although I absolutely don't think it's the only thing we need to do, I do think it's a valuable part of the conversation and the shift.
We need to start with the story that the universe has been telling itself for these past 13 billion years. We're part of this one vast narrative that binds together all of life, the Earth, the solar system. The universe is alive and self-organizing.
I believe that finding investment opportunities that are connected, interrelated, people know each other, there's relationships, that is another equally valid risk mitigation strategy.
We have to start at that level of consciousness if we're ever going to solve the systemic problems we're talking about.
In this world, we live fully in the present moment. yet we also think, design, and act towards a distant future.